and it happens in Green Bay. And Dan will be there for the Eagles and the Packers on Monday night. Philly coming off a bye after back-to-back wins over the Vikings and Giants. They are in clear control of the NFC East. The Packers, meanwhile, fell into their trap in a trap game, 16-13 home loss against Carolina last week after they had won 3 straight games. So let's look at where this thing stands. These numbers, I think, are fascinating. You want to know what's at stake on Monday night? Everything. Our analytics say Green Bay needs to win this game to stay in the mix for the top spot. With a loss, the Packers' chance to earn the 1 seed goes to 4%. If they win, they would then have a better chance than the Eagles of being the 1 seed. So, as we look back at the egg that the Green Bay Packers laid last week against Carolina, what was your number one takeaway on it, Dan Orlovsky?
The offensive line in Green Bay is not championship caliber. It hasn't been all season. This team cannot win a Super Bowl with the way this offensive line has played over the course of this season. The consistency of them living in the shotgun, and we're going to get to that of why, I feel it spreads their offensive line out so much that the one-on-ones consistently get beat. 1st and 10, you get beat quickly as an offensive line. Jordan Love under pressure. Once again, in the shotgun. And then look at these defensive ends. They're both standing up. There's no thought of defending the run here. They're just thinking, here comes pass rush, let's get up the field, here comes pass rush. Jordan Love has absolutely no shot. And so I think that the Packers right now, because of the style that they're wanting to play in their pass game, which is very much so shotgun or pistol-centric, it's forcing their offensive line to play so much in space that they're consistently athletically getting beat. Now, this is the reason why. If you look at where they are offensively when it comes to the shotgun, Jordan Love is as good as anybody performing in the shotgun or pistol. He's QBR, his completion percentage, all that. It's fantastic. Left side of your screen. That tells you why they're doing it so much. Now, you go on the right side. When they run the football in the gun, they're bad. This is an offense that, run game-wise, is bottom 5 in the NFL when it comes to running the football out of the gun. That's what Josh Jacobs. And so, put it bluntly, this is a very one-dimensional offense, and their offensive line will have to play much better if they're really going to consider themselves a Super Bowl threat.
All of those things obviously are incredibly important, and then there is another one that we haven't mentioned yet, and that is, what did you say sitting in that chair right here last week?
Last week I said Tucker Kraft was the best tight end in football, and this week they don't have him. And that's significant. That's not just losing a tight end. That's losing your number one receiver for this Packers offense. And he does it in a bunch of ways. He does it down the field. He does it run after catch. He does it in the screen game. You name it. He's so versatile. They've kind of based their passing offense around him. So now Musgraves has to come in and step up, which is a little serendipitous because that's how Kraft came along through a Musgraves injury. And then these receivers, they draft the first-round receiver for the first time in how many years? They're going to have to get something out of that.
He hasn't done anything. Matthew Golden hasn't done anything.
How about the first-round receiver?
That the first guy.
He started getting involved, then he hurt his shoulder. He was a little bit more involved recently, and I would think that once he gets healthy, he'll be involved again. And they're going to need something from Luke Musgrave, who now has to step into
Christian Watson,
Tucker Kraft.
And I wanted to ask you guys this because I brought this up last week. And it came to fruition, and I wonder just how real a phenomenon this is in the NFL. The Packers last week were coming off a game in which they had just played Aaron Rodgers, so we all understand all the fanfare and all the emotions going around that. They were looking ahead to this week where they play the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, on a Monday night. Sandwiched in between a home game in which they're a double-digit favorite against a Carolina team that, while they're better than I think most people realize, people don't talk a lot about it, don't take that seriously. Is there such a thing as a trap game in the NFL, and did the Packers fall into it?
Yeah, I think there's such a thing as a trap game in the NFL. We ran into it a bunch of times when I was at the Tennessee Titans. You go play a team like the Jets, no disrespect, Granny.
No.
But you use it, and then there's a next game right after that that's, in your opinion, much more important and much more difficult. It's easy to get lulled in that trap. But if you're the Green Bay Packers, you've already fallen into that trap game situation earlier in the year with the Cleveland Browns, if you're going to look at it as trap game. So you can have a tough game versus a bad team in the NFL. This league is built to be a 500 league. But if you do it again, now you're questioning leadership, coaching, mentality. What are these meeting rooms like in the building Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, I can buy the trap game mentality because It is surprising that they lost to the Panthers, and the Panthers won the one way they could win that game, which is running it down the throat. The Packers, they do have a top defense in the NFL. They didn't, they have this pass rush to where they weren't able to earn the right to rush the passer. But yeah, you can fall into that, but you're going to have to show up against the Eagles because this isn't a must win, but this is one to where if you are going to be that team to stand up in the NFC, this is the game to do it, coming off the Eagles having a hot win against the Giants.
And then the Eagles coming off their bye, and Shefty, remind everybody that since we've last seen the Eagles, they've made some significant changes.
Green, let's start with this. The Eagles' magic number right now is 6. 6 to clinch the division title. Nobody is going to catch the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. We're talking magic numbers on November 5th.
Right.
And if we go back to last year, coming out of a bye, that was when Philadelphia had organizational meetings. The offense got together. They came out humming in the second half. Well, they're coming off their bye again after more meetings. And not only are they coming out of the bye after more meetings with the magic number being 6, but they have 3 new additions on the defensive side of the football. Michael Carter as a nickelback, where they had some weakness. Jair Alexander at cornerback, where they had some weakness. And Jalen Phillips as an edge rusher, where they had some weakness.
And Nolan Smith's getting healthy?
And Nolan Smith's getting healthy.
Allegedly.
So they are loading up and preparing to make the type of second-half run that they did last year.
They are an underdog for the first time this season, and we got the picks up on the screen for you here. The Eagles, an underdog, again, first time this year. They're a 2.5-point dog on the road, which means they're basically telling us we think these teams are equal, and that sounds about right. And the picks are interesting to look at, as we see they are only Compton on the Packers. Everybody else likes the Eagles on the road. I
feel good. I feel good in this pocket right here. Yeah, I know we were having conversations.
I feel nice.
Danny saying Eagles team to beat the NFC. I'm not buying that. They just beat the Giants.
Those words. Well, no way Green Bay's playing 2 stink games in a row.
I agree.
No way.
I agree.
Yeah, I remember that Cowboys game was a real barn burner.
We'll have more on that one.
New England Patriots going down to Tampa Bay. Drake May continues his MVP campaign. He's top 5 in yards, completion percentage, touchdowns. Vrabel's got this team playing with piss and vinegar. The #1 rush defense in the NFL. Shout out Stretch. They go down to Tampa Bay as a Vrabel guy. They upset and they beat the Bucs.
Drake May for MVP is starting to get a little noise all around the league. Taylor Lewan, give me an opening statement this weekend.
I love everything Will Compton said, but I don't expect the New England Patriots to go 15-2. I got them losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield has had an opportunity to get a little healthy as the bye weeks come along. He's going to get back to his MVP fashion and actually jump over Drake May after this week.
Listen up, Vrabel. Going against Braves.
Living about making quarterbacks uncomfortable. That offensive line, they get up to 2nd most sacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this week, November, Tampa Bay, that's tough.
Sneaky, great game. Dan, give me an opening statement. This one is a big one.
Yeah, there is a brewing quarterback controversy, competition, whatever you want in San Francisco. Brock Purdy, really good player. Mac Jones has been absolutely sensational in his time.
He has
doing it with people that have been beat up, stars and perimeter players that haven't been healthy. He's been knocked around, yet this team somehow, even with all those injuries, is still in the playoff race, and it's because of the quarterback play. There's a quarterback controversy brewing in San Francisco.
Listen, you don't have to go to Brock Purdy as long as Mac Jones is playing like that right now.
Let's come back to that one, but let's go to Hawks next. Hawk, give me an opening statement.
Jackson Smith-Njigba is the actual MVP of the National Football League.
What?
Look, we can make all the mental gymnastics we want to about the quarterbacks, but nobody's really dominating. That's why everyone has an opinion. The person who's dominating is JSN.
He is.
He's averaging 118 yards per game. Last year, he had 1,100 yards. He has 948 in 8 games. Last thing I'll say, 4.6 yards per route. Had Calvin Johnson done that in 2012 when he broke the receiving record, he would have had 3,503 yards that season.
It's good.
How many yards per route did you have in the back in the day, Hawk?
Like 7 or something. It was really
Come on now.
All right.
Let's go.
7.
I want to come
That's
back.
why I mess with you, Hawk.
I want to come back
Why
to
the
that.
Lakers?